A bard. A goblin bard. Most memorific of basically anything you can do in Dungeons and Dragons. Today, on this episode of Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit, old Ross Desarn has requested I build him one for an upcoming game. Yeah. As you guys probably know, because I've complained about it a lot, the Bard is one of my favorite classes in Pathfinder, and not for the, ability to seduce everything in the dungeon. No, this class is really, really good. Want to infuriate your DM as a Bard? Don't want to get freaky with the dragon? This is the video for you. Be sure to like, subscribe, ding that bell for all of your Pathfinder 1st and 2nd edition content today. This episode of Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit was brought to you in part. I call him Ross. You probably know him as 360 Mac Gamer. Thanks for all your help and support, man. I appreciate you. Okay, so first, a goblin. Despite the racial negs against it, the goblin's actually a pretty good race for what we want to do here. That +4 to arguably the best ability score in the game is huge for optimization's sake. In a 15-point buy, a game where we're really stressed for resources in the ability score department, a modifier of 14 into your goblin's dexterity will put it to 18. We'll put it to as good as everyone else around you. In higher point buys, or God forbid if you rolled, that could be 22 dexterity starting, right? That's nuts. The +4 size bonus on stealth checks and the +1 size bonus to AC and attack rolls is also just kind of icing on the cake, considering the fact that our class is not a full bad class. Also, the FCB for a Goblin Bard +1 to the Bard's total number of Bardic performance rounds per day, yeah, that's pretty good too, especially in lower levels when you might run out. Of course, as you get to like the mid and late game, you probably have more rounds of Bardic performance than you know what to do with, but padding this out in the beginning, again, is nuts. Also, the race trait Rude Songs, a +2 trait bonus on all performed song checks, is double huge, and let's talk about that now. Before we go into our archetype is kind of weird, and I didn't really expect it flavor-wise. The Bard brings a lot to the table other than just memory. We are, so far as the core classes are concerned, the original Gish, casting up to 6th level spells, eventually getting a BAB of 15, 10, 5. And our spells are good. The majority of this video will be talking about how good our spells are. But we're also really good out of combat. Even if we dump our int into the dirt, 6+ int still means we have a decent amount of skills, and versatile performance means that we can get our skills at a 2-for-1. A +2 on Perform Sing is also a +2 on Bluff and Sense Motive. Sense Motive is one of the most rolled skills in the game. Having a bonus to that on something that's a class skill for us while also putting ranks in Bluff is huge. Sure, we can't get all of these, but a 2-for-1 on skills means that you can do party face kinds of things if you want, or skill monkey kinds of things if you want, and have more value doing it. Also, you get to run around as a goblin and go, "Nah," but that's a different story. In case you needed more, the ability to take 10 on any knowledge skill that you have ranks in, or once per day, take 20 on it as a standard action, is enormous in combat when you need to know what something's DR is, what its lowest save is, any weaknesses, what you can expect it to do to you. You're the Inquisitor's best friend. More on that in a second. Having all knowledge skills as class skills and adding half your level to them just kind of feeds into this farther. Right? You with me? It's good, is what I'm trying to tell you. Now let's look at our class. Normally, I'm totally fine with the vanilla Bard. Charisma synergy looks great on everything. Paladin 2, Scaled Fist 1, Swashbuckler 1, Bard 16. Looking pretty shiny. Our charisma neg, considering that our spells will sometimes target the bad guys, does sort of worry me. Did a little digging, and I found a thing. A thing I didn't expect to find The archetype for our Goblin Bard, in fact, will be a Dwarven Scholar. This archetype is just straight up really good. Do I think it's necessarily better than the Vanilla Bard? No. But it's great for us, because with Studied Insight, the Dwarven Scholar is using their Wisdom instead of their Charisma to determine all class features and effects relating to their class, including Bardic Performance, bonus spells, maximum spell level, and save DC. So the name of the game here is to just be the wisest goblin we can possibly be. We've read a lot of books, even though lore as written in Pazzo's lore books are bad. Don't listen to them. It's goblin propaganda, I'm telling you. Okay. So I won't necessarily point to a have this many stats, but get your wisdom as high as you are comfortable with it being, because we will be targeting the bad guys with our magic, and it's probably reasonable to assume you'll be swinging with your dexterity with that enormous +4 bonus. Weapon finesse plus agile enchantment looks good on everybody. Looks even better when we notice that the Dwarven Scholar is proficient with one weapon of their choosing with the word Dwarven in its name, in addition to the normal proficiencies. And there's a lot of them. Feel like running in with a Dwarven Maul Axe, that is to say a bludgeoning throwing axe? You got this. War Axe, Maul Axe, War Shield, you name it. You've got one of them. I won't necessarily tell you which one is best though, because the Dwarven Scholar's choice of feats will always depend on the party that it runs with. So Ross, for this character, really just pay attention to what your friends are building. You want to play something that does what they do, because we're going to drop Inspire Courage. I know! Why? Why would Tommy do that? That's so good! Bonus to hit! Yay! In favor of that, we're going to grab War Chant from our archetype. At first level, a Dwarven Scholar can use their performance to inspire the martial prowess of the ancient dwarves in their allies. The Dwarven Scholar selects a single combat feat they know. Allies affected by this performance gain the benefit of this feat for as long as the performance is maintained. To be affected, the ally must be able to perceive the Dwarven Scholar's performance, so just la at the top of your voice so everyone can hear you. If the combat feat has a daily use limitation, any use of that combat feat by the Dwarven Scholar's allies, while using this ability count towards your limit as well. At 6th level, you're passing out 2 combat feats, and you may use one of those feats to meet the prereqs of the second, but this will cost you 2 rounds of Bardic Performance every round, which is cool because our FCB is handing us so many extra. Honestly, grab extra Bardic Performance if you think you're going to run out, because this is huge. We are handed this at 1st level. Do you know how many classes are bad at 1st level because they're still waiting on a couple more levels to get a couple of feats? Yeah. The reason you're building to do what everyone else is doing is so you can get there faster. We get a bonus feat at 2nd level, and we get to treat our Bard level as our BAB for the purposes of qualifying for that feat at 6th level, and every 4 levels thereafter, we get another bonus combat feat. Okay, admittedly, we're losing versatile performance for this. Just take that earlier rant that I had about how versatile performance is good as to why the class is good, but okay, watch. Say you're an archer. Say you chose a Dwarven pellet bow. You took point blank shot at 1st level as your feat because you had to. At 2nd level, you take precise shot, negating the -4 penalty to hit for firing into melee, and then you're passing it out to the other archers when, like, the druid's wolf is just being so pesky and being in the way. Don't shoot the wolf. Shoot the bad guy. Bad guy is worse than wolf. I know wolf is stinky. Go away, Goblin. Or I'm sorry. Making them catch up a lot faster than they normally would. I don't know about you guys, but if the party has a lot of archers in it, giving them what is essentially a +4 to hit is better than +1. I'm not so good at counting, but 2, 3, 4, that's 3 more. Yeah, that's 3 more. Take it and be happy. Maybe I want to play a Goblin Bard, and I'll name him Meatwad, I guess. Anyway, if your party has a lot of martials in it, honestly, you might go the strength route and just let that +4 to dex pad out your own armor class. Grab Furious Focus, so the marshals never have to. They can just power attack away with no fear of reprisal, at least on that first attack, if they're swinging with a 2-handed weapon. Double Slice helps the 2-weapon fighting guys get more damage in. Slashing Grace at least a little farther up the line, once you have 13 dex, weapon finesse, and weapon focus with the given weapon, is really good. That basically saves the party a feat, 3 levels of Unchained Rogue, or gold for the Agile enchantment. As long as you have your bardic performance up, and eventually it'll come to the point where you never ever run out. Worst case scenario, just grab teamwork feats. No one will have a problem with a free outflank, a free shake it off, a free improved initiative. Okay, admittedly, having improved initiative on bardic performance and getting that in as like a readied action right before initiative is rolled is about as gamey as the food we expect our goblins to eat. But I mean, that's a +4 bonus on everyone's initiative check. That's the difference between life or death in a lot of encounters, especially if you're fighting things that are really fast or you have a party that's just kind of pokey but didn't want to take that feat. Now, of course, we're going to dip around just a little bit on this character, namely in the form of 1 monk level. Ross and my fellow friends, viewers, patrons, take this level whenever it is you feel comfortable with. Deflect arrows as your bonus feat is kind of hilarious when you're handing it out to the whole squad, especially if you got to do some running under fire. The point is, especially if you're really, really dexterous, adding your wisdom to armor class might mean your bard has a higher AC than some of their peers, which is nuts. And also critical to that min-maxing for fun and profit lifestyle that we all love to live, am I right? Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Goblin. You're my new best friend. Now, as far as the optimized party goes, and if you don't know what that means, follow this card right up here. We're basically looking at a switch hitter. Because, again, we're a Gish. We're kind of alright in melee. We have some spells. Our spells are really, really good. Not necessarily as good as a witch that's slumbering behind us, but our ability to help control the battlefield with magic or whap people. Man, what about like combat patrol also? What if we can give all the marshals combat patrol? That's dumb. Ross, again, just coordinate with your people. It's really good. People will provoke a lot when suddenly you've knocked people over with your magic. And again, taking some of that pressure off the witch, the wizard, the shaman, whoever's behind you, will make their job a little easier. Now, the big drawing point to this class, especially because we're getting rid of versatile performance, is its spell list. There are several spells that are unique to the bard. Now, granted, of course, you do get those beautiful staple spells, everything from Grease to Mirror Image to Hold Person, Hideous Laughter, Sleep, Summon spells, Invisibility, but we're not super worried about those today. Of course, take them. They are good. They will get you places. But let's talk about the spells that the bard gets that are unique to the bard and also really, really powerful. This is what makes the class shine in combat. You're not as good as the witch. The witch is better at altering probability than you, but we come pretty close. And that also kind of further reinforces that switch hitter build. The witch doesn't necessarily have to fortune somebody if you can also buff them. First and foremost, Saving Finale. A level 1 bard spell costing you an immediate action, so be careful with your swift actions. Sometimes you won't have them. You must have a bardic performance in effect to cast this spell. With a flourish, you can immediately end your bardic performance, so kick it up again next turn. When a creature within range, affected by your bardic performance, fails a save, allowing them to immediately re-roll, allowing them to have a pseudo form of advantage. I have a whole rant on witches in Legacy Pathfinder and why they're so broken, and we'll talk about the probability of advantage on a d20 roll there. Suffice to say right now, this is super powerful. Somebody gonna get sleeped, somebody gonna get mind controlled, anywhere in between. Spend an immediate action, and your barbarian isn't turning at you, slavering and going, I think I would like to kill a goblin, right? That's what we're looking to avoid here. We don't want to die. At spell level 1, also occupying debt immediate action, Timely Inspiration is a spell we're going to cast when a creature fails an attack roll or skill check. They get a +1 competence bonus per 5 levels, a maximum of +3 on the attack roll or skill check retroactively. If the bonus is enough to make the failure a success, it passes. Need 1 or 2 more? We gotcha. And as we level at Bard 2, and this jump is enormous, let me just say, Gallant Inspiration. Literally just one spell level higher, functions the same way, but you're adding a plus 2d4 competence bonus on that check retroactively, which may cause it to succeed. On average, that's a plus 5 on a roll. On average, that's outflank plus bless. Just for fun. And they might already be blessed, and they might already be outflanking. It's dumb, but it gets better. At our highest level of spellcasting, level 6, Brilliant Inspiration is a standard action lasting for a round per level. Opens a link between your mind and the subject's mind, giving it advice and encouragement for as long as the spell is in effect. Each time the subject makes an attack roll, ability check, or skill check, it rolls with advantage, rolling 2d20s, taking the higher. If any roll is a natural 20, the spell ends because your brilliant advice is spent, and rolling with advantage means that we're a little more likely to roll that natural 20, but until that happens, we're basically permanently safe. Spell is real good. If you fumble an attack roll, it was fated to happen. Literally, that's a 1 in 400 chance to throw 2d20s at the table and hit a 1 twice. You see why this class is powerful? Yeah, they're dumb. You know what else would be dumb? What would be dumb is if you had the ability to haste while maintaining a bardic performance. Outlandish, you say. Too good, you say. OP, you say. A cantrip in the playtest for a bard, you say. At spell level 2, Allegro. You must already be maintaining that bardic performance, and you gain the benefits of haste for as long as you're maintaining it. And if you cease maintaining the bardic performance or it's interrupted, the spell's duration ends. As an immediate action while you're maintaining the bardic performance, you can dismiss it to re-roll a reflex or dexterity-based skill check. Allegro dispels and is dispelled by slow, but yeah, there you go. A personal haste is really good when we're passing out combat feats and we're expected probably to be in melee or at least rapid shotting. And this is a level earlier than haste. This is part of the reason we were upset about the chained summoner. Except this one, unfortunately, only targets us. Which is probably why there wasn't an unchained bard. Of course, haste and slow both appear on our spell list. So there you go. The rich get faster. Hooray! A lot of our spells function around the bardic performance ability. I know, weird, right? Who'd have thunk it? Heroic Finale at spell level 4 says that you have to have a bardic performance in effect, you end the performance, and one creature within range that was affected can make a move action or a standard action of their choice. The Goblin over here would really like to take a greater vital strike to finish this dude off, and you can make him do it twice. Not enough for you? Shadow Bard. At spell level 5, conjures up a quasi-real phantom singer that's visible as a shifting, shadowy duplicate of yourself. So now we're in stereo. Beautiful. The singer follows you automatically, moving as you move, even if you teleport for rounds per level. The singer cannot be damaged, but can be dispelled. When a Shadow Bard comes into being, it immediately begins a bardic performance of your choice. It has access to all the bardic performances that you do. It continues that bardic performance until you direct it as a move action to switch to something else. Rounds spent by a Shadow Bard do not decrease the number of rounds you're using your own. You can't use Shadow Bard for your finale spells. More combat feats for everybody. You're basically the Cavalier at this point if you want to be passing out the teamwork feats. The people around you are better at what they're doing. It's exactly what we want. The spell list goes on, and again, we share a lot of these spells with other classes, but that's what makes us good. We're better at hitting than they are. We're better out of combat, probably without the use of magic, than they are. This build helps the classes around us be better at what they're doing. It alleviates the feat tax. That's huge. And that, my friends, is just one of the reasons, because the Bard has a lot of sweet archetypes, truly, why this class is so good. But that's all we have to say. Tell me about all your Bard shenanigans. Min-maxed or seduce the boss monster or otherwise, down there in the comments, if you would, please. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos, and that patronage at any tier will help your requests get up to the top, because there are a lot of requests I'd like to talk about in min-maxing for fun and profit, but the patrons keep cutting that line. So next week, let's do more Path of War, I guess. Yeah. The Crimson Countess, to be specific. I'll see you next Saturday.